The PISCA project is really taking on two of the primary occupational threats to farm workers. One of those threats is pesticide exposure and the long-term consequences of low-dose pesticide exposure, and the other one is heat-related illness, especially here in Florida where there's so much heat and humidity. So the overall goal really is to try to identify, culturally sensitive educational materials to try to help farm workers better protect themselves from pesticide exposure and to also help prevent heat-related illnesses while they're working in the field.
Workers should be empowered of their risks or their worker conditions, and if there is materials that are cultural competent for them, they will own these materials and they will be promoters of safety practices among their co-workers.
The worker protection standard is a law that has been long-standing and it's enforced by the Environmental Protection Agency. However, after several years of trying to get some changes and making it a bit stronger, we've finally been successful. And so the revised worker protection standard really just came into force this year, where employers are now required to provide annual training to all agricultural workers in the field.
With the pilot that we are doing, I think that we are developing a training that is up to date with the new worker protection standard. The EPA is doing their own training. They are developing their own materials for the whole nation to be a worker protection standard regulations with the new set of rules. But I think that because the size of the EPA and the needs of the EPA is going to be very general. It's not going to be very focused on the needs of farm workers in the Southeast.
And so we're trying to make sure that the concepts are understood, that they are culturally appropriate in a way that they're both understood and valued, so that hopefully we'll be able to bring about behavior change that successfully protects them from potential pesticide exposure over the long haul.
Changing behavior is difficult, but we are also moving on that front.
The counterpart to the PISCA project is the heat-related illness project. We've now did trainings for 125 farm workers. About half of them received the pesticide training and about half of them received the heat stress training. And we did pre- and post-test evaluations on each of those. And the results, they're preliminary right now, but the results are quite promising.
There is a need for this kind of studies, for this kind of processes in which we understand better how people learn about risks and how we can improve behaviors that keep them safe.
Even though the research is important and we want to get the research into the peer-reviewed literature so that hopefully policymakers and decision makers can use it to make informed decisions. And I think it's important to make sure that the workers who are working in the field to bring food to America's table, that they're kept safe and their families are kept safe. That's really what this project is about.